We meet 25 times a year. We do not meet every single week. We feel that our referral community should enhance our business and not dominate it. So to further enhance our communal feeling, we also do quarterly socials, +1 social events, and kind of hampered this quarter with the stay at home. And we also do quarterly charity events. So guys, did I leave anything out?
I think that explains it for the most
If you
part.
tell me I've been muted this whole time, I'm going to be really upset.
Yeah, I think that the big thing is, especially for Erica, since she's our guest today, is that we are here to supplement your business, not dominate your business. So different than a typical BNI, the time commitment is half the time commitment of a typical BNI. And many of our members are also involved in other networking groups, but certainly not other referral groups, because our goal is to refer business to each other. So I think that kind of covers that. Tara, you want to talk to us about referrals?
Yeah, we have two kinds of referrals. Well, first of all, the group concentrates and focuses on quality, not quantity. So we're looking for qualified referrals to pass to one another. We have two types. One is the hot referral, which is where a client is expecting the phone call, or you can reach out immediately, such as if one of the members they're looking for, like if I have a client who's looking for financial advice, I'm going to refer them to Pablo. Usually what I would do is do an email to that person, CC Pablo, so they can immediately connect and reach out to each other. The second is an opportunity knocks, which it's not a hot referral, but it's something that somebody can follow up on. Mostly right now it's social media posts, Facebook posts that we're recommending each other and other people in the group. And so for things like that, if one person says, oh, you have to call Suzanne Ratty for marketing, and then Pablo gets on and Christy gets on and I get on, and we're like, oh yeah, Suzanne's the best. You got to go to Suzanne. And then we support each other that way. So those are the two types of referrals that we pass.
Awesome. Okay, let's see, Diane and Andrea. I'll just step in real quick and say that Diane, why don't you review, and then I'll just give you an update on our last discussion about charity.
Okay, so we have 4 charities per year, once a quarter, and it's all based in Anne Arundel County. Just a way for Thrive to give back to the community who supports our businesses. And this year we had laid a very nice plan out that got a little sidetracked from a little virus called coronavirus. So we have altered and shifted from our regular schedule. So instead of doing a quarterly event at a place, we decided to do a couple of local events, if you will. So we contacted Luna Blue, and Luna Blue provided lunch for the doctors at Anne Arundel Hospital. And then we did we gathered the $550 and gave the money to Anne Arundel County Food Bank, that they were very appreciative of, because they're very low on food for the people who are lower income or out of work. And then we're going to continue to shift as we need to, depending on when this virus goes away, and stay local like we have with alternate plans. Or next quarter, I believe we're going to do something with the Chesapeake Bay, Chesapeake Bay Foundation. Chesapeake Bay Foundation, which Stephen is going to give us some information on as we get closer to that.
And then update is, I was going to find out about the family whose home burned down. I reached out to the person that I know, and I got kind of an odd response, because I reached out and said, hey, I was checking in. How's your family? What do they need? And she said, oh, they're good. Everything's okay. So I don't guess that they need our assistance right now. So what I would suggest, open for discussion, is if anyone else has any families in need that they know of that we could support right now, maybe we just throw that out there for discussion.
And the other thing too is if we wanted to do the food bank again, they are just critically low, continuing to be critically low. That's another option as well.
The Lighthouse Shelter is accepting food, like food and cash donations.
We've
Another
done
good
the
one.
Lighthouse before. That's a good one. It's up to you guys. What do you think? You want to take a vote?
Sure.
Um,
Is there anything else on the table that people wanted to do besides those two options? Okay. So how many people?
I think
Lighthouse?
Lighthouse Shelter
You think Lighthouse Shelter what, Rick?
is closed up because of the virus.
Oh,
Oh, I have a guy who works for me that is in the shelter, and he's displaced.
oh.
They closed it down.
Well, I think that might be an opportunity right there. If Lighthouse isn't able to provide, maybe there's some opportunity there to help people that would normally be there but are displaced.
Is there something, Rick, that we can do to help your employee?
Where do I begin? I mean, the poor guy's living in a tent in the woods.
no.
It's bad. I mean,
Suzanne
he's
and
got a good
David
outlook.
have a spare room in their house. I know that.
Yes.
Well, ultimately, I
Nicholas is in
think
it.
that's what he wants to do. You know, ultimately, I think he does want to like rent a room somewhere. You know, and he was doing okay for me for a while, but you know, business is just off, so he's not collecting. You know, I did get the PPP loan, but he's only been with me a month or two, so it's not like he's qualified to get a whole lot. You know, but anyway, it's a tough situation. You know, I wish there was more I could do. I mean, he is getting a check. I give him work when I can, but at this point, he's in the woods.
I
Literally.
may have a place to place him. Do you know if he suffered any substance abuse?
Yes, that's why he was in the shelter. I think because he's recovering.
But so far as you know, he's clean.
Yeah, no, he's been good for me. He's been great actually.
You have to be clean to get in the into the Lighthouse.
I have a friend of mine who runs a private home specifically for those folks. So if you want to, let's see, the best way to do this would be to ask him if he would be interested. It's up in Glen Burnie. They rent out rooms by the week just because of the nature of, you know, the environment. And it's extremely affordable. So if you want to send me his information, I could connect him with the owner.
Yeah, look, I can text that stuff to you.
Okay.
You know, his phone is sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It seems, but
Okay.
yeah. But anyway, back to the Lighthouse thing. I do believe it's closed at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, Rick, if you'll send me his number, I'll see if I can find him a
Okay.
place to sleep. How about
Yeah.
that?
I'm sure anything's better than living in a tent.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I know we've kind of done a lot, and I don't want to overburden you guys because I know we've donated to the food bank, and then we did the donations for the Anne Arundel Medical Center. So I'm going to throw it back to you guys. I mean, I'll help Rick try to find a home for this guy. But did you want to continue to do some outreach during this time, or are you guys feeling a little, you know, overburdened financially?
I like the food bank idea. It's easy.
I like Rick's employee idea. I mean, here's somebody local that we know that's related to us. Why can't we get this guy some socks and underwear? And
Well, I think in that respect, he's okay. He seems like he dresses okay when he comes in. It's just his living situation's not so good. He's got some kind of deal where he rents a car from a guy who maybe specializes in these types of folks so he does have a vehicle, which he stays in that some nights if the weather's really bad.
Is there maybe, I know that a lot of times giving cash to people who are recovering isn't like the best idea, but like maybe can we pay the first week's rent at the place in Glen Burnie or, you know, chip in for that?
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
I'll have to talk to him. Like I said, see where in Glen Burnie? I mean, because he's going to have to.
I think it's right near 8th Avenue. It's it's a decent place. I'll just give all you guys the background. I mean, I'm in recovery, and this particular home was bought by a friend of mine and another friend, and they have, I think it's 6 rooms, and it's specifically it's not designed as a dry out house. It's just specifically designed for people who've already made the step to recovery. So as long as they're clean, and as long as their desire is to try to function in society and whatnot, then they'll conduct an interview, and then I think it's like $100 a week or $75. I don't know the cost, but it's very reasonable. They provide the home, which has all the everything they need, kitchens, all that sort of thing, and they even provide things like toilet paper and paper towels.
Well, that's a big issue. I mean, right now he comes in some days, he's just thrilled that he got a shower.
Right. Right.
It's the little things, that we take for granted. And
Well, and Rick, the other thing to mention with that is, like, we have a shower at our office, and I'm in every day. So if he wants to come in and take a shower, like, I've got shampoo and conditioner, and I can get some soap. Like,
I don't know how comfortable I am having. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I can lock my door.
I mean, he's a nice guy. He really is.
Let's pursue at least try to get him the room, and then I think it was Diane or whoever mentioned, or Christy maybe, maybe the group could pitch in on his first week's rent. They won't allow him to be quote unquote subsidized, because one of the whole goals is that they're paying for their own place. They got to get in the game, but they will allow contributions directly towards an individual for their rent or what have you. So I think that could be a great idea if we could just help him get in there and maybe contribute towards either his rent, or maybe we send a giant Peapod delivery. Maybe we send a Peapod delivery to that house, because they've got 4 or 5 guys in there.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Okay.
Pursue it and see.
But he goes to the food bank often as well.
So yeah, maybe we do that. Maybe let's see if we can get him in there first off. And then the second thing is, maybe the opportunity is that we could all chip in on a Peapod delivery to the sober house with food and, necessary items for the men in recovery there.
All right, fair enough. I'll text you his stuff
later
on. We'll go from there.
Does that sound good to everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The food bank is, I'm continuing to support them, because this is just an ongoing need that they have. I mean, as of a couple of weeks, they still only had a couple of weeks left of supply. So they're continuously needing support there. So that I think that's a good idea, to continue to see if we can help them.
And Diane, maybe you could just send everybody out the link that you had where we can just donate directly if we choose.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay. And then I'll circle back to you guys to let you know what I find out, if there's availability at the house. And if you guys, like I said, if you want to chip in and do a Peapod delivery or something, either way, so you guys control it. Okay. Social events, David, I'm going to give you exactly 4 seconds to update us on social events.
Yeah, the only thing on the table would be if you wanted to do a virtual happy hour. Other than that, we're in, we're suspended.
Yeah.
4 seconds is up.
I think we should just delay it, because the way things are looking right now, as we get into, June, there's the possibility that we could do something at a public place, but, practice social distancing that's required. That's just my opinion.
I agree. And also, I think our opportunity for this next one is what we already have on the table, and that's Tara's house, because we'd be outside and we can, put the chairs 6 feet apart, hang out in a giant circle, and
We agree about the lighting.
have a powwow.
Is that still good for you, Tara? Yeah. You guys want to do like a You want to set that up for like near the end of May? Just because it sounds like the governor's going to open things up a little bit next week. Or do you want to wait on that?
It can't hurt to put something on the calendar. I mean, obviously it could be adjusted, based on the circumstances, but if you do late May, early June, that's, I think the odds are pretty strong in our favor that we'd be able to pull it off. But if we can't, we can move it.
All right, so let's do this.
I think we already have it on the calendar, don't we, Dave? May 24th or May something?
We do. I thought it was early May, so we might need to get some.
No, but last meeting we switched the date.
I would push it back to June.
Well, I think because this one's outdoors, I think we could get away with it. I don't have it on my calendar, so why don't you?
Let's pick a date.
Yeah, Tara, pick a date. Send me dates that work for you since you're a host, and then I'll push it out to the group.
Okay.
I'm done.
All righty. That takes care of our updates. Power hour. Tara, Ken, and I social distanced for our power hour, which, by the way, for Erica, our guest, power hour normally is 3 of us get together for lunch or coffee or happy hour. For this group, it's usually happy hour. And we just get to know each other personally. It's kind of a fun way to learn about each other, get to know a little more about each other's business. And Ken, you want to kick it off?
Sure, why not? So, as Suzanne mentioned, that we socially distance Power Hour via Zoom meeting. So we're actually in the exact same spots, I believe, that we were previously. We got to meet Tara's husband very briefly, who was in the process of cooking dinner, of which I was a little bit jealous. It looked really good. But no, it was a standard kind of little bit of chit chat back and forth. We've all been interacting for a while now, so I think Suzanne, remind me here. I don't have my notes in front of me. We had what were the interesting facts?
Oh yeah, so we have, we had some fun facts discovered. The first was that Ken spent a year at Randolph-Macon Junior Military High School.
I thought we decided to keep that one in term. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He was a bad boy who needed a little adjustment, so they took care of him for a year there, very nicely. And he actually said it was probably the best thing that ever happened to him, so that was cool. The other fun fact was that Tara and Richard, her husband, met and worked at Cantler's when they were little high school sweethearts. How adorable is that?
Right.
We just got crabs from Cantler's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So those were a couple of fun facts I wrote down. The other thing that I wrote down that was a little bit of a surprise to me, I guess, is that Ken gets 70% of his business from real estate agents and investors. And I wasn't aware of that. So when we're thinking about referrals for Ken, certainly I saw David posted a couple of referrals for Ken that were renovation projects. I mean, that's the obvious, but another good opportunity referral for Ken would be introductions to real estate agents or investors. So if you know anybody that's, Christy, I know you work with some investors. I thought that might be some additional opportunities that we could all keep an eye out for Ken, because I was not aware that, he specifically targeted those industries or that he had that much business coming from them.
Yes, and we also learned, or at least I learned, that Tara's additional target demographic are also not only people that are in need of estate planning services, but maybe people that already have them that have maybe aged a couple of years and could use an audit or a re-up. In fact, I'm actually connecting my folks with her as such.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were talking, the reason, Ken's business, we were talking because Suzanne was asking, what your name, how did you come up with the name Ready to Sell? And that's when Ken was telling us that originally it was really focused on, getting properties ready to sell for real estate agents. And that's why, you know, that's why the business is named the way it is. But then they expanded, and then they do renovations and they do private projects. So that's how we found out about that.
Yeah. But sale prep is still one of our absolute core competencies. So we have not gotten away from that. We've just expanded a bit.
Cool. Anything else, Tara or Ken? Okay. Member share, how did you create new referral opportunities this week? This is from Steve Kling.
Morning, everyone. Honestly, it's been quite a challenge the last couple of weeks to drum up some referrals and opportunities. Total focus in on retaining business, getting leads closed, helping customer service close leads on the, quickly. But I do have one for Rick, and that's going to be my wife. She needs a PM service and 2 new tires. So I'll get with you later, Rick, and we'll get something on the calendar.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, I know it's challenging, and we are all here to support each other, but I'm just going to pick out a couple of folks that I know we could get referrals for, even in this time of crisis. So one, and Rick, I have not written down actual referrals because I've literally just been promoting this, but I'm hoping it's ending up in referrals for you. So that's why you could post on social media that your friend Rick owns an auto repair shop and he's actually doing pickup and delivery of vehicles. I can guarantee you that you will generate referrals for Rick. So easiest way to do that is to say, a friend of mine has an auto repair shop. He is doing pickup and referrals, and then don't mention Rick and say, PM me for details. And people will PM you and say, who is the guy? I need stuff done. And you'll get referrals right there. So that's one way. Another way is Christy. Right now there's a couple of things. There's folks have kind of forgotten that if they just file their taxes and they're getting a refund, they're going to get money in the bank. Like a lot of folks have delayed tax filing because the extension was delayed. But if they're owed a refund, they can do their tax filings and get a refund, and that's money in the bank. So you could post on social media about that. And Christy, I believe that you're helping folks with some of the elements of PPP and all of that stuff. Are you charging a fee like for outside clients to do that?
I haven't had any outside clients contact me to do it. But I mean, we've certainly been doing it for our in-house clients for free. I mean, it's just what we're doing.
Yeah, so that's another thing that you could promote that on social media. I always suggest saying, either tagging Christy or saying PM me for details. If they PM you, that's how you get the referral. If you promote Christy, that's great, but you may not actually get a referral. They may just call her. So there's the nuance in the posting element of that. So there's 2 ways that I know we could generate referrals for each other, even during this time of crisis. Anybody else have any other ideas about how to generate referrals right now?
Well, I know you've done this recently for me, Suzanne. You kind of put out there, hey, I just had my estate planning documents revised and they weren't what they should have been, and you promoted me. Another thing is, and I think, Suzanne, this is probably on the Thrive website, Diane did an interview with me last Friday, and I thought it turned out really well, and we talked about some really good information. So, if you guys can maybe push that video out, it's only 30 minutes. It's maybe less than 30 minutes, 29 minutes. If you guys can push that out to your, spheres of influence and just say, hey, this is some really great information. It's kind of quick, down and dirty info about estate planning, and Diane and I had a really good talk.
Yeah, and Diane, you're not sharing those into the group. Are you able to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, because that way people would have access. I know you've done quite a few, but I only catch a glimpse of them if it appears in my feed. So if you can share them into the group, that'll help everybody see some of the stuff you're doing in case they're not getting the information in their feed. Which, by the way,
man, I will say I looked. We had 1,300 views last time I looked. So
yeah.
Well, all of you guys had over 1,000 views. Each of you that did it with us.
Mm-hmm.
It's there. People need information right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of views.
And that reminds me of another way we can promote each other is use that group. The Facebook group is great for sharing stuff into the group so that people can quickly go out. If you don't have anything to share, if you are looking for ways to generate referrals, you can go into that Facebook group, grab something and share it out, and that could generate a referral right there. So I don't think we're using that group as effectively as we could. The other thing is I set up a group on LinkedIn. I'm not connected with everybody, so just to give you the frame of reference for that, and it's worked very effectively for me. If we create a private chat group on LinkedIn, which I did, you can take a post, copy the link, put it in the chat box, and then people can go in and grab on LinkedIn that link and share it out for you. I've been doing this for probably 6 to 9 months on another group. And what happens is, if I click on, let's say that Tara shares something in the chat box, if I click on that, then I can quickly go out and I can like and comment on her posts, which make her posts appear more frequently on LinkedIn. So there's 2 levels of engagement. One is obviously sharing stuff, but the second is it's a quick way to just click on a few links, comment. You have to comment on people's posts. If you just like it, that means nothing. You just have to comment. Great job. I really enjoyed this, whatever it is, and then share it. You're going to help all of your fellow members appear in news feeds more. So I'd strongly encourage you to make that part of your weekly routine. Cut and paste links in that chat box. It's on LinkedIn. And it's a quick and easy way for you to engage with other members' posts or to find content to share. So that's been a really effective way. I've got another chat group where we have about 20 people in it. And anytime I post something, probably a third of those people are going out and just doing a quick like or share on my post. So it really does help create a higher level of visibility on LinkedIn. So if
I think you brought this up before, Suzanne, and I don't know, I kind of want to challenge the group and myself as well, because I have not been doing it regularly, but maybe just set 15 minutes on your calendar once a week, or 20 minutes, maybe Friday morning or Saturday morning or whatever, and just put it on your calendar. And then that'll be like 15 or 20 minutes that you're going to go into LinkedIn and Facebook and just look for, the Thrive stuff or people in this group and just share, make a quick comment, like Suzanne said, and just share, and that's one way, 15 minutes a week, we could be sharing to, Suzanne probably has thousands of people on her list. I have, 1,000 people on my list. So we can get thousands of people seeing all of our posts and our information if we do that just 15 minutes a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got 3,000 people on LinkedIn, and those are all qualified professionals, mostly senior level executives. So I agree, Tara. Let's challenge the group to let's use that LinkedIn. It's not a group, it's a chat. So you'll get a message, basically.
Okay. I'm going to right now put it like on my calendar for Friday morning, 15 minutes, so that I remember to do it.
Yeah. All right. Member share we did, member and guest. So let's go down the roll call. If you haven't already put your referrals in the chat box, please do that. Tara can print those out and track things that way. Make sure that you identify the referral opportunity, whether it's hot or an opportunity, and also the details. So let's start off with Christy.
Good morning. I'm Christy with Emerald Financial Partners. I work with small businesses on getting their financial statements ready, tax compliance, and then individual tax preparation. Right now, like I said earlier, we've been busy doing PPP loan applications, answering questions, becoming more business advisory, trying to get our clients through this next 6 months, really to a year possibly. I am working on a referral for Diane. I emailed her earlier last week or the week before about a client. She's not super excited to talk to me because she owes, but I've reached out again. I'm waiting to hear back from her. So.
Awesome.
Thanks, Christy.
How about Pablo?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Pablo Alvarado, Certified Financial Planner with LPL Financial. And right now, the question that I'm getting is, where are these markets going? And, you know, the answer is that I don't know. Let me look at my crystal ball. So I've been doing a lot of one-on-one conversations about what are your goals, what are you trying to accomplish, what's happened to your account during this period, and how can we get back on track? That's very, very important because there's also a lot of good opportunities right now to make those adjustments. So that's been the bulk of my conversations with clients and prospects right now. For today, I have two referrals for Mark. One of them is actually myself. I'm in the process of building a house, and I'm going to need a builder's risk policy. And another one is I don't know if it could turn into a hot referral, but it's a family member who has a business and is looking to do a review of their whole business coverage structure.
Awesome. Thanks, Pablo. David.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes. David Ratty with the Ratty lending team at Envoy Mortgage. Our world is interesting because interest rates are really, really super good. A lot of people are taking advantage of that to refinance and reduce their house payment during this time. I mean, the challenge that we have is for the people that are furloughed, they have to pause because we can't count their income if they're not receiving it. But for those that have stable jobs and for those that are comfortable that their company is going to, pardon the pun, thrive and stable, I mean, the market is fantastic right now to purchase a home, refinance a home, even renovate their current home, do the improvements and so forth. So that money's still free flowing and still very inexpensive. Dave Ratty, Ratty Lending Team, Envoy Mortgage.
Thanks.
And so I had two referrals. One was an opportunity knocking for Ken, somebody looking to do a finished basement and addition on their house. The other one was really due to COVID. My folks have a 2-story home, and you know it's our aging population, so they're moving their master bedroom down to the first floor. So that was a hot one, which really cool, and that I wanted to share with everybody because it's a great way to refer business to Ken, especially in social media environments. Is they did a virtual estimate, never even went to the house, but just took pictures and sketches and measurements and so forth and worked up a complete estimate. And that's pretty cool because, you know, how do you compete with that?
So Dave, let me thank you as well for that. Not all of our clients are as astute as you and your folks are in terms of providing that type of information. So you guys made that one really easy on us. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, Rick.
Hi, I'm Rick Sharp at Chesapeake Import Services in Annapolis here. We're a full service automotive repair facility. And yeah, during these times, we have picked up and redelivered vehicles to folks and just helping out any way we can. You know, no job's too big or small right now. We'll do anything, you know, anybody needs done. Taking it day by day.
I love it. It's like
What's
pizza.
that?
Pick up and delivery. I love it. It's like pizza.
Yeah, right. Contactless, right?
How about Steve Kling?
I guess I need to unmute myself here. I'm Steve Kling. I'm the owner of My Way Mobile Storage. We are in the portable storage, local self-moving business. Typical customer of ours is someone who's home staging, decluttering, downsizing, remodeling, moving within the 10 counties that we service. We deliver our portable storage units to the home, the apartment, condo, and they load it up, and it either stays on site, it can be stored in our secure warehouse in Odenton, or it can be moved directly to where they're moving to. And I had the one referral for Rick, hot referral.
Okay, how about Diane?
Good morning, everyone. My name's Diane Donnelly. I'm with the Donnelly Group of Keller Williams, flagship of Maryland. And I am a real estate agent, and I work with sellers, specifically sellers. I don't work with buyers. In my world right now, inventory is really, really low. Andrea is going to go over the numbers here in a little bit for her spotlight, but critically low. And we are finding that with a little bit of education, people are jumping off the fence because it doesn't make sense to wait until the virus is over when everybody else is going to put their house on the market. It makes more sense to do it while supply is critically low for sellers. So if you know anybody that's looking and just wants information about how to stay safe during this, we created something that Andrea will go over here shortly, but nice to meet everybody.
Thanks. Andrea? And Andrea's going to do the spotlight.
I have the spotlight, so you'll hear from me shortly.
Thank you. Stephen?
Good morning, everybody. Stephen Oliver with Reach Local. I work for a digital marketing agency, and I help businesses really with their online presence and online lead generation. I guess what we're seeing in the marketplace, there's a lot of businesses that are really taking advantage of this whole COVID thing. These businesses a lot of them are essential, and they need our services for inbound leads. So if you know businesses that are out there that you're saying that, business is slow or I need more business, please refer them to me, Stephen Oliver with Reach Local. And also I had a referral for Rick this week. I had to go to the auto parts store, and there was a lady looking for an O2 sensor and asked them if they could put it on. And they said no. So I knew the lady, and I referred her over to Rick, and she was going to go up there and make that appointment. So you never know where you're going to find referrals.
Good job. Good job. And I forgot to ask, as you guys were referring, make sure that you put your referrals in the chat box. Tara.
Yes, let me see everything here. Hi, everyone. My name is Tara Frame. I'm an attorney with Frame & Frame, and my legal practice focuses on helping people ease their worries and take the burden off of their shoulders. We prepare custom, personalized estate plans, long-term care plans, as well as help with estate administration and probate. So what makes us different is that we really delve into the client's information. We try to get information about their families, their children, any disabilities, any substance abuse, find out what their goals are, their objectives. Is it asset protection? Is it just passing assets to heirs? We've also been doing a lot of long-term care planning, especially some crisis planning for people in nursing homes. Unfortunately, the COVID is hitting nursing homes really hard, but we can help people pay for their nursing home care without destroying and using up all of the family assets. So we really are looking to help people in all of those areas. My firm also has another attorney that handles family law and personal injury, primary auto accidents. So if there's anybody who has custody or visitation or divorce issues, she can help with that. I had one referral for Christy that I emailed her earlier, I think maybe earlier this week or last week on Facebook. Someone was, I think a small business was looking for, female-owned business was looking for some accounting assistance. So I emailed her that opportunity.
Thank you. I private messaged her.
Good.
Ken?
Oh, sorry. Good morning, Ken Riccini. I'm a project manager with Ready to Sell Renovations. We are an Annapolis-based general contracting firm. We can handle everything from new construction all the way down to small punch list items typically associated with real estate sale transactions. good lead for us is anything that falls in that wide range of home services spectrum within about a 30, 45-minute driving radius of Annapolis. I had 3 hot referrals and 1 opportunity knocking this week. I emailed Tara the details on those. One was for Dave, one of my subcontractors is looking to pre-qualify. Another was for Mark. Mark, I need to connect you with one of my main subcontractors, Sergio. That one's a little bit detailed. I was going to actually try to give you a buzz about that. He's needs some assistance with a work comp audit as well as a quote for his overall umbrella policy. The other was for Tara for our Power Hour. I wanted to connect you with my folks to do an audit of their existing trust. And the last was for Steve. One of my clients had a closing date that they were trying to push back on their previous property that the buyer wasn't going to allow. So they're in a tight spot and may need some temporary storage. So I gave them your contact information with a sterling recommendation.
I nominate Ken for the member of the week. That was a awesome list of referrals you had there.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I was slacking before, so I felt motivated. I had to pump the numbers up.
That's good. Set the bar, Ken. Set the bar. All right, Mark.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Mark Tesloff, agency owner, Goosehead Insurance, on Savannah Park, Maryland. We do personal lines of insurance, so that's home, auto, but we also do commercial lines of insurance. So that's going to be your, standard commercial lines insurance policies. And what we've been seeing has been kind of interesting since we've last talked in the last couple of weeks. As an independent, we're appointed with close to 20 different carriers, so we kind of get to see the full scope and the effects of how this is impacting clients. Many, if not all of the carriers on their auto side are coming up with plans that they came out with for April, May, and I anticipate seeing them going into June for their clients' autos policies to have a rebate or some type of reduction on the premium, anywhere from 15 to 20% is what we're seeing. And it's interesting, I'm fielding starting to get calls that people are concerned about, being able to make ends meet when it comes to, a product that they're required to have, so fortunately, not that it's being advertised by all the carriers out there to the public, but if they call in and they talk with the billing department, there are grace periods that they're considering and looking at. But it's, it kind of tugs at the heartstrings to hear some of these people, how devastating this has been for them. And our heart goes out to them. I had one referral. I sent it over to Ken and I did put it into the chat box as well. And then I have the personal development personal development and education piece later, and trying to look at doing something a little motivational. I had a pretty cool video I was going to share with you guys and talk it through with y'all. So good to be here.
How about Erica?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Erica Anselmo. I am an event planner and interior decorator. Yes. A lot of people like, you do both? And I'm like, yes, I do. And I tell people, look at it like this. I can stage the home you're selling, I can decorate the home you bought, and I can plan the housewarming party that you're gonna have.
Nice.
Decor.
I love it.
So I'm actually new to this whole group. I know David, so I'm just excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Good to have you.
Thank you.
How about Brent?
Good morning. My name is Brent Doherty. I'm one of the owners of Conscious Networks. We're actually a Virginia-based company, but I recently moved to Annapolis back in October. And we're a B2B technology company. I guess our elevator pitch is simply that we allow business owners to worry about running their business, not running their technology. So any kind of technology questions I can certainly help with.
Do you have capabilities for people who, let's just say government contractors who need secure servers?
Absolutely.
Okay. By the way, Erica, Brent, and Rebecca, if you all want to please put your information in the chat box. Since we're virtual, we're not able to pass actual business cards. We want to make sure everybody gets your information. And Thrive members, if you want to do the same, just so that Erica, Brent, and Rebecca have your information as well.
Yeah, can you give us the name of your business and then the contact information so we'll have that?
Yep. All right, Brent, I may have an introduction for you. So that's good to know. Good to have you here. We actually really do need an IT provider. So that would be awesome. How about Rebecca?
I'm a communications consultant for nonprofits. I specialize in strategic messaging. Right now, I'm doing a lot of grant writing, as you can imagine. Mostly just helping the organizations I work with pivot from what they typically would do in their messaging and fundraising on the individual side, communicating with their donors in different ways because everyone is really stressed right now, and then helping organizations position themselves for what they're going to need, what they know they're going to need in the next 30, 60, 90 days that are going to be a little different than they would normally be looking at. And I'm visiting, so nice to meet everyone. Thanks.
Nice to have you. So Rebecca, just curious, if I was out and about networking, what does a referral look like for you?
Typically, I work with small to mid-sized organizations, anywhere from revenues about 500,000 to $1 million. I have a couple of clients whose revenues are much larger, but they tend to have a lot of internal staff, and so they might use me for capacity building. Okay. So I tend to work with organizations that are looking to diversify their funding, but they're not quite sure how.
So you and Brent could have some potential synergies there, I'm guessing, based on that.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Anything else on our introductions? Did I miss anybody? Okay. Spotlight, member business. Each week for our guests, we have a member who gets to take a little additional slot of time to either tell us about them and their business, or once we've gotten to know them, we actually have them educate us. So if you've read anything about Thrive, you know that we each serve as basically the specialists or the experts in each of our industries. So we try to educate each other on what we know that maybe everybody else in the group doesn't know. And Andrea is our Spotlight member today. So Andrea, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. First and foremost, I think, Suzanne, we're going to try to share what I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Andrea Lord-Tangeli, and I'm with the Donnelly Group of Keller Williams Flagship of Maryland. So Diane and I have a real estate team, and I run the buyer side of our team. So generally, I work 100% with the buyers. But today, we get the question, of course, I think just like Pablo mentioned, how's the market? So today, my spotlight, I was going to educate you a little bit on what's happening in today's real estate market, and then let you know a shift that we made on our team to kind of adjust to the environment that we're in. So let me try to put this up here so everybody can see it.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, can everybody see?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so today's real estate in a quarantine world. So as all of us know, here in Maryland on March 30, Governor Hogan issued a mandatory stay-at-home order. So I know Diane and I and a lot of our colleagues in the real estate world were like, oh no, we're all going to die here. But I think the opposite has happened of what we all thought was going to happen. So from a 4-week period from starting on that March 30 date through April 27th, a couple days ago, in Anne Arundel County, first of all, real estate is an essential business for those of you that do not know that. In Anne Arundel County, in those last 4 weeks, 401 homes were listed for sale, new listings. 701 homes have gone under contract, and 710 homes have actually gone to settlement. So business is happening out there, which we're very happy about. The biggest thing I'm going to mention right now, the month supply of inventory, also known as MSI, is in a critically low place right now. So in Anne Arundel County, we've got about 1.5 months of housing inventory, and a balanced market is about 6 months. So just to show you the impact of that fact right there, last year, for the month of April, there were over 4,200 homes listed for sale. Right now, there's about 1,520. So I repeat, 4,200 homes this time last year listed for sale, 1,500 right now. So as you can see, I mean, I don't recall it being this low as long as I've been in the business. It was general brokerage business, which has been over 10 years. So inventory is just at a critical low. So the biggest question is, well, who can benefit from this condition? And right now the answer is sellers who put their home on the market. Now, Diane alluded to that a little while ago when she spoke, but you know, we have a lot of sellers. Obviously they have concern of, you know, who's going, I don't want people to come in my house and potentially affect my family. You know, they think that nobody's out there buying homes, so that's another misunderstanding. So the question becomes, we're trying to have this conversation of sellers. If they're looking to make a move and looking to put their home on the market, the time is now. Their homes are, sorry, Diane's back here making noise. Basically what's going to happen when all of this passes is all these people that are sitting on the sidelines that want to sell, they're going to wait, and then the market's going to be flooded with inventory all at once. So when that happens, when there's ample inventory, prices may tend to decline. Right now, we're at the highest price points. We have a lot of buyers out there. Dave mentioned earlier, the interest rates are still extremely low, so there's a lot of buyers out there, and they're all competing for very limited inventory. So sellers are able to maximize what they're going to make on the sales. And from my side of the business, which is buyers, it still remains frustrating, but we do have a lot of multiple offers and so forth. So sellers, yes.
Can I ask you a question right there?
Sure.
So if sellers are in a good shape to sell, and I know you're probably going to get to this, but how do buyers see their houses?
We'll get to that, Suzanne. So yeah, so I have to give kudos to the real estate industry. So we all made an adjustment quickly, and that's everybody. That's the agents, that's the lenders, that's the title companies. So a shift needed to be made, and everybody made it quickly. So about to tell you about the virtual world of real estate here in a minute. All right, so it's a great question though, Suzanne. So here's the biggest concern when we're having the conversations, and Diane can attest to this, but it's like I mentioned earlier, I'm scared to have people walk through my home and expose my family to the virus. So we thought about this, we've talked to colleagues, we've been on 8 million Zoom calls, we have a real estate coach. So we came up with, the Donnelly Group has coined sanctuary marketing. So it's a virtual alternative to selling your home. So the steps here are below. If everybody could see this sheet here, let me try to scroll. Okay, so this affects listings, and I'll talk about how it affects the buyers as well. So the way this works, if sellers are interested in listing their home, what we do are listing appointments via Zoom. So what happens is the seller takes their laptop or iPad, walks us around their home with the laptop or iPad so we can kind of see what the home looks like. Obviously the data is all still online, so we can, you know, determine market value and things of that nature. So after that, we will run through the house just one time just to make sure we haven't missed anything on the listing. as far as the paperwork is concerned, everything is done electronically. So everybody signs all the listing paperwork online. No one has to meet in person and spend a lot of time at a kitchen table. The next step, a photographer comes out just one time, shoots an immersive 3D virtual tour, including floor plans in addition to the regular still photos. So this part, I think, has been the biggest change, where we're spending extra money on the type of photography that we're doing. Most of the buyers now, to answer Suzanne's questions, they're looking online and they need to see more detail than just still photos right now. So these 3D immersive tours are incredible. So it's like you're walking through the house. There's actually like a dollhouse view where you're kind of looking down in the house. You can see all the rooms. You can walk through from the front door, every level, and see every detail in the house. And they also, it shoots floor plans. So you can kind of see room dimensions. You can take measurements. So it's pretty incredible, the technology that they can do with these cameras. So then what we've been doing are virtual open houses. So I don't know if anybody's seen them, but we have our Houses from Your Couches series. So we've been doing virtual open houses where basically we go online, we're using the 3D immersive tour and walking the people through the house and then answering questions as we go. I mean, obviously there's some things you can't see, like how old the roof is and you know, what kind of heating there is in the home, et cetera, et cetera. So we try to talk about things that you can't see looking at a picture or reading in the listing. Then the next thing, Suzanne, is our virtual showings. So there's two kind of fields here. So the first one is there's sellers that like, I don't want anybody coming in my house. So that would call for a virtual showing. So what will happen is we can have both the buyer agent, the buyers, the sellers, and both agents sit down, and the seller kind of walks the buyers through the house and answers any specific questions that they can't see from the virtual tour. So that way, the things like, you know, the roof, the HVAC, the, you know, whatever you can't see, the sellers are answering the questions. If the buyers feel comfortable at that point, they'll submit an offer and then have a contingency in there, typically 48 hours, so they can just run through the home one time, and then the sellers will allow that. So that's kind of been working out well for those sellers who are fearful of having multiple people walk through their home to look.
So does that,
what's that?
Does that minimize, it obviously minimizes foot traffic through the house. Does it also mean that when a seller gets somebody in their home, they're typically very serious?
Correct. So as an industry, I think we've done a good job. I know on our team specifically, and I've mentioned this down below, but for the sellers that are going to have a person come through that are a little uncomfortable with a lot of people coming through, everybody's pre-screened. So, you know, we don't know if they're going to lie or not, of course, but our admin calls and asks if anybody that's going to look at the home has been sick or is sick. And then they're asked to wear a mask, gloves, and shoe coverings when they come in. The sellers are turning all of the lights on and opening like the doors, the closets, and all of that. So the buyers do not really have to touch anything as they're walking through the home. And it's kind of worked out really well. I can tell you from my end, I've been showing property and I have my little CDC bag in my car, but I've supplied gloves, masks, hand sanitizer. Like when we come out, we take our gloves off, hand sanitizer. So, but I don't allow people just to go look. So I'm screening them a little bit more thoroughly. I always make people, you know, become pre-qualified before they go in. However, I want to make sure that with all the tours that are available now, and, you know, they can go drive by the neighborhood, see if that looks good. With all the tours, they have to be pretty confident that the home is a strong contender before I actually schedule an appointment and take them in there. And I think as an industry, that's what a lot of the listing agents are requiring. So that's what we do on our end too, on the selling side.
Andrea, I'll just say, I mean, because we deal with real estate all the time, and I've been looking at the listings on the different sites, Redfin, Zillow, you know, even some of the realtor sites, and those virtual showings are just, it's amazing technology. It really is.
Yep. Yep. And the open houses, I'll tell you, I don't think we're ever going to go back to doing in-person open houses because, you know, we're doing them live and on Facebook Live. I mean, when we're doing it, there's not a lot of people live, but the numbers are pretty incredible of the views that are happening after the virtual open house. So we've got hundreds of people actually looking at it, like, you know, 400 or 500 people looking at the virtual open houses. So that beats, you know, going out there, putting in signs, setting everything up, and then having 3 people come in. So it's reaching a lot more people. So I love it. So we'll probably continue to do that after all this is said and done. And then, of course, all the offers, when somebody decides to put an offer, everything's done electronically. So again, we don't have the need for ink signatures or meeting face-to-face, spending a lot of time around people. And then David, I can tell David's group, I mostly use David for my mortgages, and his company has done like an e-closing. So it's awesome. So what happens is the people sign all of their, most of their closing documents that they can, and then they're going to the title company. The sellers and the buyers are signing separately to keep everybody safe, but they're only going in and signing like 3 documents, and then they're out. So what is typically an hour and a half closing is now 10 to 15 minutes. So again, minimizing the amount of exposure that we all have to one another. So that on our end, it's been very well received. We obviously had to get over our fear of tours and doing a lot of video, but it's, you know, it's becoming second nature now.
Awesome. Any other questions for Andrea? Good job. Good job. So hopefully you guys see that our members of our group do serve as experts in their industry. And I think what Andrea and Diane are doing is really innovative and certainly leading the charge for realtors. So great job, ladies.
Thanks. And again, if you know anybody looking to sell me, now is the time. Do not wait.
Awesome.
I'll leave it at that. Back to you, Suzanne.
Awesome. If you can stop your share, that would be awesome. Because we're going to hand it over now to Mark for each time we get together, one of our members does some sort of educational piece. Usually it's about 8 to 10 minutes. And Mark has been assigned that task for this week. So Mark, tell us what you got. Give us something we didn't know before we came in here.
All right. So, you know, I was thinking about this, and I was like, oh, we could talk about, I haven't done a deep dive with you guys on commercial policies. Maybe next time I have the education spotlight, we'll take a peek at that. But earlier this week, a communication was sent out within our organization that was somewhat motivational. And let me see if I can share my screen and you guys can see this. And then I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to pull this off, and that I have a, you know, it's a video that I wanted to play for you guys. So I'm hoping it comes through. I'm just trying to get this teed up here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just not in slide mode. So hold on 1 sec. All right. So, you know, it stemmed from this communication. It was something titled "These Are Not Unprecedented Times," which just kind of caught my attention. You know, and essentially what it was based upon is navigating and adapting to the current situation we're facing requires a change to our strategy to survive, both in our personal lives, which, you know, is crazy, and our businesses. And then simultaneously, at the same time, we have to take the time to understand how this crisis is impacting our clients and potential new clients. So that's become a big part of what we're looking at. And I'm assuming some of you are familiar with Simon Sinek. If not, I wasn't. He's fascinating. In 2009, he started a movement to help people become more inspired at work, inspire their colleagues and customers. And millions have been, impacted by his philosophies. He had one of the most popular TED Talk based symposiums on one of his books, because he's an author. One of his books is Start With Why, and that gets into, and I watched part of it, as to why certain companies are just so unbelievably special and different. So I wanted to see if I can get this to come up. Can you guys hear the video?
Can't hear anything.
All right, tell me if you can hear it now, just so I know.
A podcast
Yes.
to some folks in Australia, and they were pushing me very hard to try and explain how the infinite mindset helps in times like these. And I had a thought on that call that I wanted to share with everybody, which is these are not unprecedented times. There are many cases, lists of cases, where change or something unexpected has put many companies out of business and made other companies come out stronger and reinvent themselves. The invention of the internet put many, many companies out of business. The ones who could not reinvent their companies for the internet age, but rather doubled down on the old way they did business. Every video store is out of business because of streaming, and they couldn't reinvent themselves. When Starbucks moved into neighborhoods, many, many companies went out of business. Many coffee shops went out of business, not because of Starbucks, but because they refused to change the way they did business. They still had an old ripped up couch when you had a better product. Uber is putting taxi companies out of business, not because of Uber, it's because the taxis refuse to change. This is not unprecedented. Something new and this more sudden, absolutely. More shocking, absolutely. Without a doubt. But this is not unprecedented in the business world. And so for us to say, not how do we do what we're doing, but rather, how will we do what we're doing in a different world? The world is different. And the thing that I said on this interview was, it's the companies that have been investing in will and having an infinite mindset for a long time that will come out of this stronger, because they're prepared. Many of them were saving money as opposed to giving out huge fat bonuses to everybody and spending all the money. And the will of the people is high to figure out a way through it. The ones that are struggling the most are the ones that spent all their money, saved nothing, appeased Wall Street, and the will of the people is low, that people are in survival mode rather than reinvention mode. With an infinite mindset that are reinvention mode, it's the companies with a finite mindset that are in survival mode, regardless of how much money they have. It's the mindset. How are we going to get through this versus how are we going to change to get through this? So optimistic because we're thinking about the future. We're in a dark tunnel, but there's a light over there. I don't know how far away that light is, but I can see it. But we're in darkness now, but when we come out of there, we will have a better train. We will be a completely different business. Some of us will have different jobs by the time we get out of this. That's our opportunity. The opportunity is, what will we be? Not how do we preserve what we had. Mindset. I'm so proud of this team because my attitude is this, not theoretically, but because I'm watching a team go through it right now. I'm watching people reinvent themselves. I'm watching people think about their jobs differently. I'm watching people think, how can I contribute in a new way? I'm watching people say, what could we be? How will we bring our message to people in a different way, in new ways? That will last forever, by the way, not just for now. I'm proud of you guys, love you guys. You are a living example of the stuff that I'm talking about out loud. I get to say, we are doing this. We're not allowing Uber to put us out of business. We're not allowing Starbucks to put us out of business. We're not allowing the internet to put us out of business. This is not unprecedented. This has happened many, many, many times in business. This one's just a little more sudden.
Jobs, you don't need different jobs out of this company, but reinvent yourself within this company.
That is the opportunity. I know a company, it's a fine dining restaurant in New York City. Figured out a way to become a delivery company. All of his people have kept their jobs because they have different jobs now. If you think you're going to do the same job and you're waiting, like if you're a public speaker who was waiting for this to get through so you can go stand on a stage, I got some bad news. The ship has sailed. We have to be a normal company now. We have to market ourselves and develop product. Wake-up call for us. We had the luxury of being lazy. I don't mean that in a bad way. There was no reason to reinvent when we're drinking from a fire hose. It's magical. I'm thinking, how do I put myself out there without a stage? This is entirely new for me as well. Entirely new for me. I'm not worried about what I do. I'm worried about why I do it. And I will find a job that helps me do that.
Hey, Mark, I think we're having trouble hearing the audio. Is that, was it close to the end?
Yeah, it's close to the end.
Okay.
So I'll just go back. So in closing, I think, ultimately what the point was, and I would highly recommend, all of us kind of need to rethink how we're doing things. And I think it was interesting going through the spotlight today with Andrea and understanding what she's doing on her end in their business. I think we all need to ask ourselves, what can we do differently? For me personally, it's marketing and working with our referral partners. It's still going to be a major component of our lead flow, but we also need to incorporate other techniques to accomplish where we were previously tracking. And, it's going to require better use of technology to communicate in order to meet with new clients and referral partners clearly. And Andrea alluded to the fact that you have to become more comfortable with that technology. We've got to get past, I don't want to be on camera, I don't want to do this. And it's also, taking forums like this and understanding and utilization of best practices by others, not within your own industry, but other industries as well. So we all need to kind of think about this. And we've, in the last couple of weeks, have been trying some of these new processes. And our business has been staying on track because of that. We're not getting the same type of referrals we were obviously prior to this, but we're still, because we've been looking at some different ways to improve our lead flow, have been seeing success. So that was really what I wanted to share. And I hope each of you takes the opportunity to kind of think about different ways that you might be able to do things differently and share them with us as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. There you go. Any comments on what Mark shared today?
Interesting.
I think what Mark is saying is dead on. Either you, at this point, sort of reinvent yourself for what today's market brings and be open to pivoting and shifting, or you get left behind. And this is where the rubber hits the road. There's two schools of people right now. There's one that they're staying at home nervous and not doing anything because they're too scared to face what it is they have to in their business. And those are the people that are going to really struggle to get to the other end. And then there's people that say, all right, this shit's real. I have to do it. I have to figure it out. I'm going to use resources around me. I can't tell you, I am busier now than I've been in the past couple of years. And I'm talking with people inside and outside of the industry all day. What are you doing? How is it working? What are you doing? How is it working? And changing everything about our business, because I can't be one. I don't have the luxury of being one of the people who can sit back and just be nervous. You have to just keep going, and the more action that you take, the less fear that you have, because you're in action versus just sitting idly. So really, really good information, Mark. Thanks for sharing that.
Anybody else?
Well, I mean, just to back on that with what Andrea is saying and what we're starting to talk to clients about is, you know, how do you differentiate yourself from the next person out there? Because the brick and mortar, like boutiques and retail, that's not going to be the same, even throughout the next year until there's a vaccine or whatever you want to say. If you didn't have an online platform before because you didn't think you needed it and you had a specialty shop, it's not true. So your old school thinkers really have to shift and pivot to a new line of thinking.
Yeah.
If I have to put my financial hat here, I mean, for years I've been preaching to people: have a reserve fund. Don't spend more than what's coming in, because times like this, I don't have the crystal ball to tell you when they're going to happen, but I can tell you they will happen. You know, there are people right now that are making the choice between paying their rent is the 30th of the month, right? Do I pay the rent or do I feed my family? And that's a horrible position to be in. You know, there's a lot of people that didn't learn from the lessons of 12 years ago, 11 years ago, when we went through a financial crisis. You know, we did see for a while, we did see the rate of savings go up, but it took no more than 3 to 4 years after that when we started the savings rates go down and the credit card debt topped over $1 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we have to, I think, go back to the basics and execute on those basics and do them well in order to get to that next step. And that, you know, I make no distinction between your personal life and your business life. Anything that we do on our business carries over to our personal and vice versa. So if you're going into a business and you don't have your house in order, all those bad habits, you're bringing them into your business. So that's my little soapbox with the financial piece. But, you know, have a reserve fund. This should be a wake-up call to a lot of people. If you're not doing those basic things to start some kind of emergency fund, I don't care if it's a few $100s, but have it and start there, because that's going to make a big difference. You know, 10, 5, 6, 10 years from now, when we do see something like this again. So, Mark, thank you very much for sharing this. I mean, we do have to do things differently. About 3 years ago, I made the decision, you know what, I'm going to give up the expensive office and work from home instead, because I don't want to pass that cost to my clients for times like this. I don't want to have to say to a client, look, your fee is X and it's not changing. So.
You know, Pablo, in keeping with what you were saying, one of the first activities that we do in a shifted market is to attack your personal budget and your business budget and get your operating expenses down. And we did that. So we took our P&L and we went through it line by line and we cut out $3,000.
Yeah.
And I thought that was wonderful. That was great news. However, I would ask, why in the world did we have $3,000 that we were able to get rid of anyway, right? Right?
Exactly.
So, you know, you cut to bare bones, but then you question yourself, why didn't I do this every month instead of waiting until there was a pandemic to do that kind of analysis on your data, on your
well, how much of that $3,000 could have been in your savings, right?
Yeah.
And for how many months?
Mm-hmm.
Right? 36 months. Let's just say $1,000 of that three. That's $36,000 that could be making a big difference right now.
Thanks, Pablo.
Yeah.
I already did that math.
I always tell people that once every, I used to recommend once every year, but it gets challenging nowadays. But once every couple of years, cut up every credit card you have, report them as lost, and have the credit card company send you a new credit card. And the reason is because you have things that are automatically charging to your credit card that you've completely forgotten about. And when you cut up that old number and you get a new credit card, you find out, you get all these messages. Oh, we're no longer able to charge your card. And you go, well, they were charging me $10 a month for the last 2 years. And you find all these little hidden charges. So that's.
Yeah. And even if you do see it, it makes you reevaluate. Like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this magazine subscription or whatever it is? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even really need this.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Thank you so much, Mark, for bringing that to us today.
That was awesome.
And that's what our education piece is all about. So now we're going to remind you to check in on social media. Tell people where you were this morning. Tell people the one thing you learned. Tell people about the referral you got or the referral you gave. And speaking of referrals, Tara.
Yes, so we got 20 referrals this week. Yeah, we got 16 hot referrals and 8 opportunities. So I think for being virtual and not really out there networking and seeing people face to face, I think that is fantastic.
How many was it again?
It was a total of 20. We had 16 hot and 8 opportunities.
24, right?
Pablo, you have to do the math. Something's wrong with the math there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a good thing you're an attorney.
Sorry.
I do law, not math.
I had 20 and then people started sending me more. So that's what I was looking at. Yes. So we have 16 hot and 8 opportunities. So we have
24.
4. Thank you, Jen. I'm a lawyer. I don't have to do that, right?
I love my fellow blondies. All right. So check in on social media. That was our big reminder. Thank you, Tara, for tracking our referrals.
Do my best. With my limited capabilities at math.
Right. And if you did not provide a hot referral today, please show up at the next meeting with a referral for a fellow member, because that is why we are here.
Yeah, I'd like to say something about that. You know, Mark's education was all about changing your paradigm and re-engineering your business. That goes true with our referrals. We're a referral community. And a lot of us, me included, go through the day and the week and just stumble across an opportunity for one of the people around the table. And that opportunity isn't as visible in this new environment. So what I'm saying is, I think we need to be more proactive as opposed to passive in identifying opportunities for people around the table. And remember, every time you identify an opportunity for somebody around the table, you're enhancing your value to that particular person in your sphere of influence, your client, whoever it might be. I'm done.
Well, David, it's the same thing. Is as we're shifting our businesses, we're shifting here too in Thrive. We're doing things differently here in Thrive. And if we don't shift and change and pivot, we're not going to have results. So this isn't any different than pivoting in our jobs.
Exactly.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Glad to be with you guys. Glad to have got. They say you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with, and I am proud to be surrounded by you guys. So thanks for being here. Any recent wins, good news, or life events to share?
Yeah, I'd like to announce that My Way Mobile Storage for the 7th time was voted best storage from the Capital Gazette Reader's Choice Award.
Yay!
Awesome.
Yay! Kara, weren't you best of recently too?
Yeah, we were voted best law firm in Pasadena by the Pasadena Voice for like 5 years running now.
Awesome. Yay!
And then I don't know if I announced this before, but this year I was nominated by my peers as a 2020 super lawyer.
That's awesome. And you know, just so you guys understand, I didn't understand the weight of this until very recently when we talked to Rachel, but so it's less than 0.5% of lawyers in the nation achieve that level, right?
Yeah, and you have to be voted. It's not like you don't, it's not a paid advertisement. You have to be nominated and peer reviewed by other attorneys.
Yeah, there's like 15 different criteria that have to be met. So that's a pretty huge accomplishment, Tara. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I didn't realize I was calling you super lawyer before you actually had the accreditation. So
Right.
I feel better now. Thanks.
And I have one exciting announcement. I have been working for the last year, and I mean, it's been probably more than a year, with one of my clients. For those of you who know me well, I had about 12 years in the home building industry and served on a couple of boards in that industry. And one of my clients is a home builder, and we just finished finally his book. And when I hit the button to print that book, I can't even tell you how happy I was to finally hit the print button. So officially, I am now published. I've published articles before, but never a book. So it's exciting, and that'll be out soon. So hopefully you guys will get a chance to check it out. But
Congratulations.
Thanks. Good stuff. Anybody else? Okay. Well, we finish up by 9. That's what our promise is, so that we can have you out the door, or in this case, stuck in your home. And hope you guys have a great week. And don't forget, check out the Facebook group, Thrive Business Communities. Share your shit.
Is that our new tagline?
Let's get t-shirts.
I like it.
All right, guys, have a good day.
Have a good day, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye now.